This video is going to walk you through everything from holding the hook to making your very first stitch to finishing something you can actually be proud of. Even if you have never touched yarn in your life, by the end of this, you'll have the skills to make something real. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about what crochet even is, because I think a lot of people have the wrong idea. Crochet is not the same as knitting. I know people mix them up all the time, but they're different. Knitting uses two long needles, and you work with multiple loops at once. Crochet uses one single hook, and you only ever work with one live loop at a time. That's actually what makes crochet a little easier for most beginners. There's less to juggle, less room to drop everything and lose your place. Crochet has been around for hundreds of years, and people use it to make blankets, bags, clothes, stuffed animals, hats, scarves, home decorations, basically anything you can think of. Once you learn the basics, the possibilities are kind of crazy. But before any of that, you need two things: a hook and some yarn. Let's talk about yarn first. When you walk into a craft store or browse online, you're going to see a lot of options. Different colors, different textures, different thicknesses. And yes, the thickness of the yarn matters a lot. Yarn weight is called weight. The thicker the yarn, the bigger the stitches, and honestly, the easier it is to see what you're doing when you're just starting out. For beginners, I always recommend going with something in the medium weight range. It's also called worsted weight. It's not too thin that you'll struggle to see your stitches, and it's not so chunky that it feels awkward in your hands. If you're buying yarn, look for a label that says worsted, or look for the number 4 inside a little skein single on the packaging. That's the industry way of marking yarn weight. As for color, pick something light. Seriously, dark yarn is beautiful, but when you're learning, you need to see your stitches clearly. A soft beige, light gray, or any pastel color works perfectly. Dark navy or black yarn will drive you crazy as a beginner because you can barely see where one stitch ends and the next one begins. Now the hook. Hook sizes go hand in hand with yarn weight. On your yarn label, there's usually a recommended hook size printed right on it, which makes things simple. For worsted weight yarn, you'll usually want a hook around 5 millimeters. Most hooks have the size printed on the flat part of the handle, so check there if you're not sure.
Hooks are usually made of aluminum, plastic, or wood. For beginners, aluminum is great because it's smooth and the yarn slides off easily. You can find beginner crochet kits pretty much anywhere. Amazon, craft stores, even some dollar stores carry basic sets. You don't need to spend a lot to start. Get the basics and upgrade later once you actually know what you like. Okay, so now you have your yarn and your hook. You're sitting down, ready to go. What do you actually do first? You start with something called a slip knot. This is how every single crochet project begins. It's the very first loop that goes on your hook. Here's how you do it. Pull out about 6 inches of yarn from the end of your skein. Make a loop with the yarn so it looks like a circle. The tail end of the yarn, the short piece, should be on top. Now take the longer strand, the one still attached to the skein, and pull it up through that circle to make a new loop. Slide that loop onto your hook and pull the tail end gently to tighten it. Not too tight. You should still be able to slide the loop along the hook easily. That's your slip knot. Done. Now let's talk about how to hold everything, because this is where most beginners struggle and give up. There's no single perfect way to hold a crochet hook. Different people do it differently, but here's the most common way to start. Hold the hook in your dominant hand, the same hand you write with. You can grip it like a pencil between your thumb and index finger. Some people prefer to hold it like a knife, with the hook resting in the palm of your hand and your fingers wrapping around the handle. Try both and see what feels more natural. Neither one is wrong. With your other hand, you're going to hold the yarn and control the tension. Tension is basically how tight or loose the yarn is as you work. Wrap the yarn over your index finger, under your middle finger, over your ring finger, and let it drape across your palm. Your middle and ring fingers grip the yarn lightly to create tension. Your non-dominant hand also holds the work itself, the piece you're building, usually between your thumb and middle finger.
It's going to feel weird at first. Your hands won't know what to do. That's completely normal. Within an hour of practice, your hands start to figure it out on their own. Just give it time.
Now let's make your first chain. The chain stitch is the foundation of almost everything in crochet. Learning to chain is learning to crochet. Here's how it works. You have your slip knot on your hook. Now bring the yarn over your hook from back to front. This move is called a yarn over. Once the yarn is over the hook, pull it through the loop that's already on your hook. You just made your first chain stitch. Do it again. Yarn over, pull through. Another chain stitch. Keep going. Each little loop you make is one chain. When people say chain 20 in a pattern, they mean do that move 20 times. Your chain is going to look like a little braid or a series of V shapes when you look at it closely. Try to keep your tension even, meaning each stitch should be roughly the same size. Don't pull too tight or your chain will be stiff. Don't leave it too loose or things will get messy later. Practice making chains until it starts to feel comfortable. Make a chain of 20, then cut the yarn and start again. Then do it again. Repetition is the only way your hands learn this. No shortcut. Once you feel okay with the chain, you're ready for the single crochet stitch. This is the most basic stitch in crochet, and honestly, one of the most used stitches even by experienced crocheters. If you learn nothing else today, learn this. Make a chain of 11. Now you're going to turn and work back across that chain. Look at your chain. You'll see the V shapes on top and a bump on the back of each stitch. You're going to insert your hook into the second chain from your hook. Skip the very first chain, go into the second one. Insert your hook through both loops of that V shape. Now yarn over and pull the yarn through the chain. At this point, you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull through both of those loops. 1 loop remains on your hook. You just made a single crochet stitch. Move to the next chain and do it again. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on hook, yarn over, pull through both. Keep going all the way to the end of the chain. When you reach the last chain, you finished your first row. Now you need to turn your work to start the next row. Make 1 chain stitch, this is called a turning chain, and flip your work over. Now you work back across the row you just made, doing single crochet into each stitch. For single crochet, you want to insert your hook under both loops of each stitch, unless a pattern tells you otherwise. Keep doing this, row after row, and you'll start building a flat rectangle of fabric. This is the foundation of a dishcloth, a coaster, a small swatch. It might look simple, but what you're actually doing is learning muscle memory that will carry you through hundreds of future projects. Here's something nobody tells beginners about tension.